This portion of Carlos Amezcua is brought to you by Southern California Edison.
The world has become a privacy and security nightmare, and Daren Masten's Clear Cloud Solutions is ready to protect you and your company. I know that's a broad statement, Daren, but welcome to the program. Nice to have you with us. You sound like the savior to all of these protection problems that we have online and just in securing our workplace. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Thanks for asking. Listen, I wish we were the savior for all, but not quite. But we do what we can. We try to keep at not only the cutting edge of the industry, but the bleeding edge of the industry, and a lot of technologies. And with the technologies moving at warp speed, AI, computers and cameras, they go together. Access control. It certainly, definitely has some challenges, and we try to render remedies for a lot of the businesses and properties that are out there, government businesses, utility businesses, to protect people, property, places.
Well, it's an impressive business, and you've built it up from what I would suspect it's been 25 years of hard work on your part to get to this point. Tell me a little bit about what was the essence of your dream to become your own boss, your own business guy. How did it all start for you?
Yeah, so I've always had entrepreneurial juices flowing inside of me for quite some time. I grew up on the Hoopa Valley Indian Reservation. I'm a Hoopa Valley tribal member from Northern California. And, growing up on the reservation, things can be tough. There's a lot of missed opportunities, a lot of challenges growing up. And at some point in my younger life, I was heading down the wrong road, and I actually got influenced by some mentors, and actually kind of steered me towards law enforcement a little bit when I was younger. Those type of mentors are critical, especially on the reservation. And so I ended up pursuing a career, and ended up, when I left the reservation after I graduated, pursued a career, ended up in a Fortune 500 company, did fairly well. And then after a long career, I actually had the opportunity to after a small change in jobs, I had the opportunity to start my own business, and I ventured out. And so I figured I would keep doing what I did best and what I was trained to do, and what I spent a career doing, and it led me right into security systems integration, which is what we do today.
Yeah.
And so
you sound like a very disciplined. You sound like a very disciplined guy. But I want to go back to those days. Why is it difficult on a reservation for a young guy with a bright mind to get ahead and to move forward? What is it that prevents you from getting there?
Well, I think there's a lot of obstacles. My reservation in particular is in a very remote location. The Hoopa Valley Indian tribe is one of very few tribes in the country that were reservationed on their homeland, which is a great thing. But there's a lot of obstacles. There's a lot of poverty. There's drug addiction. There's alcoholism. Health issues. A lot of tribes, unfortunately, because of the system and the way things came about, are very difficult places at times. They're amazing places. Our tribe is a beautiful location, and there's wonderful people there. But there's a lot of obstacles that exist in, I think, any community. But it can be a tough upbringing. And like a lot of other communities, I was faced with some, the people that you looked up to were sometimes the drug dealers or the not so influential people. And so, I was blessed at one point as a youngster. I got picked for a county job to go to work at the sheriff's department. And for the first time in my life, I actually had like a deputy to look up to. And they kind of took me in, and I worked that career and worked that job, and it was very influential to me.
It changes your mindset, doesn't it? It kind of says, wait a minute, there's something besides what I've been experiencing.
Absolutely. And I think that's why it's so critical. And a big part of what we do today is, I believe success in business is not just how successful you are with your companies and how successful you are and the money you make, but it's how you give back to your community. And that's what we're really trying to do today is, work with the Native community, work with young kids, work with young adults, help out entrepreneurs and people that want to start their own business specifically on the reservation in Indian country. And we do a lot of that as well.
Why is that important to you?
Well, I think it was the opportunity that I had. Number one, it gave me the opportunity when I look back on my career and growing up. I think it was extremely influential. But also, it quite honestly has a big part to do with my faith. Faith is very important to me. Putting God first, people second, and then yourself is certainly something I've tried to follow, and helping others in the Native community is certainly one of those.
So when a client approaches you, and knowing what you've just told me, it seems to me that honesty and forthrightness is part of what really gives you credibility for a security system or something that you would recommend for a company to install, or in their computers or in their buildings, whatever. It seems to me that is really the cornerstone of what you're talking about.
Absolutely, and I'm glad you mentioned that, because not only is integrity important in any business, right? But in this particular business is important, and it's really what our foundation is. It's what we built on from there. Customers need to trust you not only to do honest integrity business, but it's also important that they understand your professionalism and your ability to dissect what's out there, and really hone down on what it is their issues could be and find a solution. And so you're absolutely dead on. Integrity, honesty in this business is critical, and like any business, it can have some dishonest parts, right? It's a tough business, but integrity is number one with us.
So tell me exactly what your company does provide.
So we are a security systems integration company. We do a plethora of different technologies that protect people, property, and places. So a lot of video cameras, IP cameras, video analytics, access control. So when you badge into a building or card swipe into a building, to authenticate somebody when they're coming into a building, it can be via biometrics, it could be with a passcode, or it could be with a card. Today's integration, all those things tie together. So cameras talk to the access control. So we do cameras, access control. We do a lot of heavy lifting in the utility field. Southern California Edison has been a great partner with us for quite some time. And so we protect the grid, as well as a lot of other industries, military, gaming, retail, healthcare, and so on. And as I mentioned, everything from cameras to radar intrusion detection, perimeter intrusion detection, shot detection, all the above, including emergency preparedness and some safety consulting.
That is pretty comprehensive. That's a big load to have to carry, but you do it with such great expertise. And tell me a little bit about how important Southern California Edison, the partnership, has been for your company.
Well, I can't say enough about Southern California Edison. But quite honestly, I was able to meet them through some diversity channels that I was networking in, and they are absolutely committed to disadvantaged companies and the diversity community. Edison gave me an opportunity years ago. I networked with them, started a relationship with them. They kept an eye on me. I'm certainly glad they didn't give me a contract when I first was introduced to them. I probably would have failed, but they did a great job of monitoring me, getting to know me. When that opportunity was right, they gave us an opportunity. And I can tell you, as a Native American Indian-owned businesses, we do a lot of networking in the diversity community. We talk to a lot of companies that have a desire to do business with diverse and disadvantaged companies. And we sit across the table in front of a lot of companies and try to market our business. And we hear a lot about diversities and a lot of companies' commitment to diversity. But I'll tell you what, I have yet to come across any company that shows the true passion for diversity and small businesses, and particularly in the Native American Indian community at Southern California Edison.
Yeah, I think a lot of companies pay lip service, big corporations pay lip service to these underserved communities, underserved businesses around the country. It's kind of a mantra now because it's everyone's talking about it. But back when no one was talking about it, this was a tough thing to do, and you have to show leadership. So in that vein, how is your company helping someone else get their start?
So, that's critically important to us. I mean, customer service is important. Staying at the cutting edge of the technology is important. And I could go on and on, the criticalities of running a business, right? But quite honestly, from the heart, really the most important thing to us is giving back to the community. Success isn't always about money. It took me a while to learn that. I can't tell you that was my goal when I started the company. Like a lot of entrepreneurs, we have all these ambitions and ideas of growing the company and becoming big. But again, I'd have to attribute my walk in faith, and giving back to the community is extremely important to me. So I work with a few different organizations and travel throughout the country, doing talks to small Native American Indian-owned businesses, working with tribes. And currently, we just, even though our main office is located in Southern California and our primary customers are down here, We just recently opened an office up on our reservation, which is up in the far remote areas of Northern California, where we just opened an office. And the primary objective there is to work with the tribe, work with the councilman and the chairman to try to develop economic strategies for the tribe and employ some people on the reservation.
So what is your message to young people who are contemplating starting a business in your Native American community and on your reservation? What message do you give to them, and how hopeful are they when they hear that message?
The message that I would give any young person is a message of hope and identity. And I think that's a lot of what's lost, especially in the Native community. A shocking statistic that's very sobering is the number 2 cause of death amongst Native Americans between the age of 16 and 24 is suicide. Oh. And from my travels throughout the country and speaking with a lot of tribal leaders and a lot of business leaders, a lot of young people, it's lack of hope and lack of identity. And so there is hope and there is identity. And being an influential mentor to young people is critically important to us. So number one, I would tell them not to give up. I would tell them it's tough, but I would say life is tough. A lot of times people think that because of the adversity that they've gone through, it makes them weak or a victim. And I actually have a different perspective on that. I know that the difficulties that I had in life actually built my character. And, I was actually listening to a pastor this morning that had a saying that rung true. And it's more spiritual progress is made through failure and tears than through success and laughter. And so I think if you take those difficulties and those obstacles that you go through in life and you apply it, like I have in my business today, it makes you a lot more seaworthy to go through the storms of the future.
Well, Daren Masten, you're an inspiration to all of us, and we so appreciate you spending time with us, and we wish you continued success in your journey and continuing to be a leader in your community and in our community with the great services that you provide.
Thank you very much. And I'd also just like to add, also in the difficult time of the COVID and whatnot, we are utilizing and offering a lot of different technologies that can help businesses with the COVID epidemic. There's different technologies and devices that can recognize whether customers or employees are wearing masks. There's different devices and technologies that can actually monitor and count customers when social distancing is critically important. So we offer a lot of those tools as well. And I would encourage anybody to go to clearcloud-solutions.com to find out more information about us. But I sincerely appreciate your time.
Well, Daren, thank you so much for being with us. Of course, the company's called Clear Cloud Solutions, and we so appreciate your time with us today.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.